See shadow, it's all I know. Tell me now, where did you go? I lost the light, looking your eyes. How come you don't let it shine? I see shadow, it's all I know. Tell me now, where did you go? Tell me now, where did you go?
Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your end of May reading. I am Princess India. If you are new, welcome to the channel. If you're family, well, welcome back, my friend. So I'm not going to take up too much of you guys' time. We're going to go ahead and hop right into this reading. I hope you guys have been doing well since the last time we've seen each other, my sweet, precious peoples. But we're going to go ahead and ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for my Cancerians for the end of May going into June. Please, Spirit, anything that they need to know, anything of utmost importance, I ask that comes to the forefront in this reading. And I ask that you give me the ability to interpret these messages in a clear and concise manner. And I thank you in advance, Spirit, because I know you're good for a dag, not a son of a gun. So Cancer, what we're going to be doing, or cross-watcher of Cancer, we're going to be looking at an energy between you as well as your person of interest. Then we're going to be looking at you individually, and then your person of interest individually. If you're a cross-watcher, you're probably going to resonate more on the side with the Cancers that are subscribed to me, and the Cancer you're cross-watching for more on the person of interest side. But you know, energies are fluid, blah, 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 and what's not, or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Energy between you, and your person of interest, and two cards come out. Shout out. First card we have is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse, and then we have the Two of Swords. So in a situation where there wasn't a return on your investment, you're kind of stuck in your head. You're in a stalemate about it. You know, it's more or less, I can't go backwards. I can't move forwards. Don't really know what to do because the situation was unequal. But I feel like Spirit is about to turn this back around on you. The reason why the situation was not equal is because there was an inability to see that there was a lack of emotional investment. The situation was being approached from a very logical mental standpoint, and it's more or less an expectation of giving, and this is the energy between you two, BTW, the expectation of receiving without giving. So it's more or less, and I feel like this is something subconsciously of how you were approaching this. I don't think it was intentional, but it's more or less, it's being self-protective. And before you invested, it's like you wanted the other person to invest first, so you knew it was safe for you to invest, right? But if the other person didn't invest, then you wouldn't either. But it's more or less the other person didn't invest because you didn't, and then you didn't invest because the other person didn't, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why the energy between you guys is at a stalemate, because both of you were too afraid to open up. And then the first card we have for Cancer or the cross watcher is the Eight of Swords. So being, clearly trapped in a mental space, a prison of your own making. It's always nice, is it not? You know what I'm saying? It's being trapped inside of yourself, you know? And that's all fear-based. You know, it's like literally being a prisoner of fear, right? And what it's really based in is being afraid to let someone in. So it's more or less, I'm not opposed to letting someone in, but it's like I just need them to open up first. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Ain't that some stuff? I'm going to take these. Then we have the King of Wands in the reverse. Then we have the Page of Wands. And then we have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. This is interesting. So the whole thing is that I'm seeing is here, being trapped in your head, right? It's more or less that influenced how it is you guys were communicating and reacting. And I feel like it's, and this is going to sound so weird, so please bear with me, Cancer. It's more or less like, okay, It's like a slow and steady wins the race kind of energy. Because, you know, with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like it's moving slow, right? But it's like moving slow to your detriment, if that makes sense. It's being so cautious that your overcautiousness now becomes recklessness. And it's recklessness that is harmful to yourself as well as others, right? And what this is, because how I'm seeing it energetically, it's like manifesting from the wrong place, right? With this being next to the Eight of Swords, this is saying that how you are acting, how you're communicating in the 3D, what you're building in the 3D is being built from a place of bondage, right? Which means it's self-defeating, it's self-sabotory, it's limiting, glass ceiling, it's unfulfilling for yourself as well as others. Putting this within the context of this lack of give and take in relation to another person, this would be categorized as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, to where at the end of it you could say, see, that's why I don't invest. That's the reason why I don't allow myself to be vulnerable in the first place, right? So it's kind of proving, and this was a reading for you guys months ago. And it would be so funny if this was May of last year. You know what? Before I post this, I'm a link that video. I'm going to fall out laughing if that reading is from May of last year. But I remember the title of that reading was Waiting to be Proven Right. And I remember when Spirit told me that, I was like, what the heck does that mean? But Buku Cancers were like, yep, like y'all knew what it meant. But I'm getting a new understanding of it. Waiting to be proven right is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the thing that we're not seeing is how we're subconsciously creating these situations for ourselves to prove ourselves right. I'm going to link that below. Please forgive me, because I've already looked at some of my old videos, y'all, and I look a hot mess. So please don't judge your girl. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Anyway. So we have the Knight of Wands in the reverse. The Knight of Wands in reverse, this is more or less a, what's the word I'm looking for? Impotent. It's like impotency. It's having all of this energy to create amazing, beautiful things, right? And that's whether, you know, situationally with the business, entrepreneurship, stuff like that, or just in relationship wise. The King of Wands is someone who makes the best out of a bad situation, can fix anything, is very resourceful. In the reverse, he's impotent. It's like, you know, proverbial erectile dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it in like an illustrative sense, like giving life to things, being like the seed of life, in the reverse, it's lacking that. So what this is saying to me, this mental space that you guys are in is what is causing in like infertility. And I don't know why Spirit has me using these words. It's causing proverbial infertility in your life, if that makes sense. But yet and still, it's a desire to go in the direction of something that's going to set your soul on fire. But the whole thing, or wondering why it is things aren't manifesting. Like, why is this not working out for me? Why am I not getting that opportunity with the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles in the reverse? It's like I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, you know, for this person or this message or this thing, right? That's going to set me free, that I can go in the direction of. But what Spirit is showing me in all of this, and I guess it's just because of the full moon energy, man, everybody getting called out, is Spirit is pointing out how you're creating your own demise. And this has nothing to do with another person. This all goes back to a mindset. Everything that you experience in your external world is a byproduct of your mindset. How you judge and interpret everything in your external world is a byproduct of your mindset, right? So, and like I said, going back to that reading, waiting to be proven right, that means that you've already set your mind on something, right? If we speak about like psychological theories, literally, when you already have your mind set on something, then all other opposing information is just excluded by default. We won't pay attention to it. The same thing happens with readings. we can listen to a reading, whatever our mind is set on hearing, we will only hear the parts that are in alignment with what it is we've already set our mind on, and we will just exclude and rationalize everything else out, right? So that's like a legit thing. And this is the thing that's being brought to your attention, because this is what spirit is trying to heal. So I don't know who it is you guys are working towards getting, or what it is you guys are working towards getting, but spirit is showing you in what way there's a block, like there's a mental block that's preventing you from getting what it is that you've been working to get. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the lack thereof of vulnerability when it comes to connections with other people. It's wanting to hold back until the other person invests first. But you have to think about it from that person's shoes. No one is going to put, their feelings or their emotions, or open up their heart into a situation that's unsure. And if you're holding back, that makes the situation unsure. It's not on a stable foundation. So that's how you get two people that are in a stalemate, right? So moving on to your person of interest, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, or whatever. Whoa. Temperance in reverse. If that ain't interesting, I don't know what is. That's imbalance, conflict, a little bit of chaos, and things of the sort. That card came out for Leo too. Then we have the Six of Wands. Yeah, the Temperance in reverse, that came out for, interesting. That came out for Leo too. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, this is getting really interesting. The Hermit in reverse. Wow. The Sun card. Whoa, the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, and the Seven of Cups. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Hold up. What is happening in America? Oh my goodness. This is tea right here. Now, your person of interest, they just as conflicted as you. Now, with the Temperance in reverse, there's an imbalance in the situation. It's a lack thereof of growth, and that's causing chaos, right? It's causing everything to be all topsy-turvy. But at the same time, the conflicting energy with this is the Six of Wands. So it's a desire for a victory, right? But the Temperance in reverse is in direct contrast to this. So the fact that there is an imbalance in the partnership, that's preventing any type of recognition, victory, moving forward, end of the war type of thing, ceasing battle and things of the sort. It's limiting those things from happening. Now, we have the Ten of Pentacles here, which lets me know that in some sense or another, it's like energetically, there's a lesson that's not being learned on your person's side. I can see it's because it's a lack thereof of listening to intuition. And this, again, is very similar to what I was saying in Leo. So if you guys have Leo in your chart, or if you're dealing with a person that has Leo in their chart, by all means, check that out, because their reading got extra deep. You know what I'm saying? But this person isn't listening to their intuition. But I'm seeing how this is in direct contrast, because the most positive cards we have on this side, we have the Six of Wands, the Sun, and the Ace of Pentacles. So this is saying to me, this person literally is desiring to be happy, to be victorious, and to make an offer. But what is offsetting this? We have the Seven of Cups. So it's a person being in their head. It's like fantasizing about all of this. I want stability and security. I want a family. I want a strong foundation. You know what I'm saying? But the lack thereof of them listening to their intuition. And this is like showing me in two facets of how this is showing up. With them not, oh God, y'all can't see because of the sun. I got to do something about that. Anyway. With the Hermit in reverse, them not listening to their intuition to see the truth of the situation, that's what's causing energetically an imbalance to where the relationship is unable to progress, right? To where it can be balanced out between like head and heart. And in 3D, it's causing a Seven of Cups situation. So it's more or less going back and forth in the head. It's thinking of all of these different options and scenarios of what could be, what couldn't be, daydreaming about the best case scenario, daydreaming about the worst case scenario, but there's no action that's being taken, right? And that lack of action that's being taken is what I'm seeing over here with you guys as well. So this is very similar to how it is I was seeing it with Leo, to where you have two people who are mirroring each other in so many words. But it's a desire for an offer to be made, but it's more or less the person feels that that's just a dream. Like, it's almost as if they're feeling that what they're desiring is never going to happen, right? But the thing that I'm seeing, the missing link in all of this is this Hermit in the reverse, you know? It's a need for them to, how do I want to say that? I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to say see the light because that sounds redonkulous. Because that, what does that really even mean? Okay. It's like, okay, maybe if I say this first, it'll make sense. The person has to see the light in reference to the block, right? The block being what, like the temperance issue. There's an imbalance, i.e., I'm either valuing spirituality too much or I'm valuing the 3D realm too much, right? So my ego too much or my heart too much. There needs to be a balance between the two. In order for the person to see this, they need to see the light in the situation, to first acknowledge that there's an imbalance in how they're perceiving things, right? To see where those modifications need to happen, right? But also with the Hermit, there's also a level of, it's like going within for too long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like repeating past mistakes. So this is probably a person who isolates. Like whenever conflict comes about, they never, it's like the lesson is never really learned for them because they, wow, that's interesting. It's like they isolate themselves. So maybe like they ghost. You know what I'm saying? So suddenly they just go quiet. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they're coping with things. But when they go into this solitude, they just daydream about an offer being made, but they're not actually doing anything because they're not seeing the truth of the situation in the sense of like what the source of the imbalance is. So it's kind of like a person who's stuck in their ways mentally of how they're perceiving stuff or their coping mechanism. Like every time this partnership, every time they would get into a fight, it's almost like everybody is retreating to old coping mechanisms, right? So it's like on Cancer's side, because I'm waiting to be proven right? It's like I know that this person is going to do X, Y, Z. And now Spirit is showing me one of my cards from my Chakra Oracle deck, which is so freaking hilarious. I'll get to that in a second. Okay. So it's like waiting to be proven right. So that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So here I'm not investing. This person freaks out with the not investing, even though they want investing, but they're not saying that they want that. So when this imbalance occurs, they go back to the old coping mechanism and daydream about things being different, but still in all on both sides, both people are not doing anything to make anything different. Does that make sense? Oh, here it is. Spirit showed me the soulmate card in this book. I literally just saw that. And it's so freaking funny. I wish Spirit would have showed me this like 5 minutes ago because it would have stopped me from having to sit here and try to make sense of what I was saying, because this literally sums up what it is that I'm saying. So anyway, that's the card. That's what it looks like. But it says soulmate. It is time to face my true feelings. Okay? And it has like a little story that goes with it. So y'all getting a little lagniappe today. Y'all are the last ones, so why not? Anyway, the legend. It is time for him to leave her again. To use the script he always does at this point. He even knows her next line. She will say, "How can you do this to me?" But unexpectedly she says, "I love you." The words of the script die on his tongue. He struggles to get them out. Just a few words, he will be free, but they won't come. Suddenly, he clasps her to him. He loves her. This is the true freedom he sought. Inspiration. To enjoy the beauty of a rose, we must risk being pricked by our inner thorns. This offers a new way to live. The best incentive to change is love. Personal inquiry. What truth am I embracing? This card indicates no longer living a lie. Key ideas. Speaking your truth, choosing love, freedom through transformation, resistance to commitment, an unexpected outcome, and new truths. Wow. Authenticity, treasure, and trust. And then they have a meditation. Oh gosh, my battery's dying. They have a meditation that goes with it. And the meditation says, take a deep breath and keep relaxing until you find yourself in a safe place. This may be something that you want to do later. Ask the great spirits to help you face that which you long for. Allow any nerves to pass. You may now know how to handle your present situation, or this knowledge will come to you soon. Man, that's real. Thank you, Spirit. Could have told me that 5 minutes ago, but I'm not going to be upset. You know what I'm saying? Just had me sitting up here trying to say things and you said it in the book. But anyway, yeah, dude, that's what the thing is. I feel like this is a big spiritual lesson to learn here, especially with this transformation. That's the Temperance card. It's all about ascension. It's the ascension of the balancing between those two extremes. Because, you know, with the balancing of the cups and stuff, it's balancing your heart space and your mental space. So it's more or less on both sides, but in different ways. It's showing these self-defeating defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms that both people are using that's keeping the situation in a stalemate. So it's an unequal give and take on both sides, because it's two fears that both people have and they're reacting. But this person's issue is more or less disassociating. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're not dealing with this in reality. They know what they want and they daydream about it a great deal, but it's just them never doing anything, and it's constantly the same thing. So in order for there to be victory in this, balance has to come, meaning there has to be a tiebreaker. So that story is actually perfect because it talks about something that's cyclical. So it's like the people are doing the same thing over and over again. Every time they have an argument, he says this, she says this, and he says that, and she says this, and he says that, and once she says this, he's out, right? But someone has to be the one to break the cycle. So someone has to change the narrative. Someone has to change the script. The moment that happens, that allows both people to open up to show their truth. But I always say, before we can ever speak our truth to another person, we first have to speak it to ourselves. We have to know our truth and speak our truth to ourselves before we can ever communicate it to other people. So that's why it's time to start being honest with oneself about why it is that we're doing what it is that we're doing in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Dagnabbit, son of a gun. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and toss the dice of resonance. You know what I'm saying? If you want to ask a yes or no question, go ahead and formulate that now. And I'm going to go over to the Lurkers Lounge on Vimeo to look a little deeper into your person. They daydreamy self. Are they going to do anything? We don't know. We going to see. We going to learn today. So you can pause me if you need more time to formulate your question. But I'm going to toss these out. All right. We have Crush. We have Aquarius. We have Cancer. We have Yes in a Few Weeks and Rising. So Cancer, Aquarius, Rising. So one or the other. Crush and Yes in a Few Weeks. But that has been your reading, Cancer. It has been a pleasure. If you're about that life, follow me over there on to the Lurkers Lounge on Vimeo. If not, I love your freaking face. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you because you're freaking amazing. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces. Why love superficially?